Think casinos are all about glamorous wins and life-changing jackpots? Think again. Welcome to the darker side of gambling, where fortunes are lost in the blink of an eye. Today, we're diving into the 10 biggest losses in casino history. From multi-million-dollar wagers gone wrong to the shocking stories of high rollers who risked it all and walked away with nothing. These are the moments when luck turned its back on even the boldest gamblers. Imagine losing $30 million on Blackjack, $125 million on Baccarat, or an unbelievable $500 million in high-stakes games. It's enough to make your head spin. But these losses aren't just jaw-dropping. They come with valuable lessons about the fine line between thrill-seeking and financial ruin. So buckle up as we count down the most spectacular casino disasters of all time. Will you make it through without second-guessing your next gamble? Let's find out. Charles Barkley's $30 million slide. Charles Barkley, one of the NBA's greatest players, didn't just dominate on the court. He took his competitive nature straight to the casino floor. Over several years, Barkley admitted to losing an estimated $30 million gambling on blackjack and sports betting. His losses were so significant that he publicly declared gambling a problem and took steps to scale back. Barkley famously said, "It's not a problem if you can afford to lose it," but his staggering losses tell another story. At one point, he lost $2.5 million in just 6 hours. Despite being one of the most charismatic sports figures, Barkley's gambling habits became a cautionary tale. Today, he claims to have a healthier relationship with betting, focusing more on enjoying the game than chasing massive bets. Barkley's journey is a reminder that even larger-than-life figures are not immune to the lure and the pitfalls of the casino world. Archie Karras and the $40 million streak gone wrong. Archie Karras is one of the most famous gamblers in history, known for both his legendary winning streak and his dramatic downfall. Starting with just $50 in 1992, Karras turned his tiny bankroll into an astonishing $40 million during an unparalleled streak of luck in poker, dice, and baccarat. However, his meteoric rise was followed by an equally dramatic collapse. Karras lost it all within months, placing increasingly reckless bets and trusting luck to keep him afloat. His fall was as spectacular as his climb, as he bet millions in single rounds, chasing the thrill of his earlier wins. Karras' story is the ultimate example of how the casino's allure can lead even the most skilled players to ruin. He remains a polarizing figure in the gambling world, admired for his daring but pitied for the devastating losses that followed. Harry Kakavas' $20 million loss. Harry Kakavas, an Australian real estate mogul, holds one of the most infamous gambling loss records. Over just 14 months, Kakavas lost a staggering $20 million playing high-stakes baccarat at Crown Casino in Melbourne. Known as one of the world's biggest high rollers, Kakavas was reportedly betting $300,000 per hand at his peak. Despite his enormous wealth, these losses devastated him financially and emotionally. Kakavas later filed a lawsuit against Crown Casino, claiming he was manipulated into gambling despite his addiction. The courts rejected his case, stating that he was a willing participant. Kakavas' story underscores the dangers of chasing losses and the vulnerability even the wealthiest gamblers face when luck turns against them. His tale serves as a stark warning about the risks of unchecked gambling and the seductive nature of high-stakes games. Terence Watanabe's $127 million gamble. Terence Watanabe's story is one of the most shocking in casino history, marked by a loss of $127 million in a single year. A successful businessman and heir to a fortune, Watanabe became one of the largest individual contributors to casino revenues in Las Vegas. He spent millions playing high-stakes games at Caesar's Palace and the Rio. His losses were so massive that they accounted for nearly 6% of the annual revenue at these casinos. Watanabe claimed the casinos exploited his addiction, offering him unlimited alcohol and free luxury accommodations to keep him playing. His losses eventually spiraled into a public legal battle, highlighting the darker side of casino practices. Watanabe's story reveals how addiction and reckless gambling can destroy even the most substantial fortunes, leaving behind a cautionary tale of excess and loss. Maureen O'Connor's $13 million downfall. Maureen O'Connor, A former mayor of San Diego saw her life unravel due to her gambling addiction. Over nearly a decade, O'Connor lost $13 million playing video poker. What makes her story particularly tragic is that her gambling habits were fueled by personal grief, including the death of her husband and other family members. In a desperate attempt to recover her losses, O'Connor embezzled funds from a foundation her late husband had set up. Her actions eventually led to criminal charges, but the court recognized her gambling addiction as a mitigating factor. She was ordered to repay the stolen funds and seek treatment for her addiction. O'Connor's story highlights how gambling can spiral out of control, even for those in positions of power and influence. Her fall from grace is a poignant reminder of the devastating impact gambling can have on a personal and professional life. Michael Vick's hidden gambling addiction. NFL star Michael Vick's gambling woes didn't involve traditional casinos but illegal betting circles, which nearly cost him everything. Vick, one of the most electrifying quarterbacks in NFL history, became entangled in underground gambling through dogfighting operations. The financial losses weren't the most significant part of his downfall. It was the damage to his career and reputation. After being implicated in illegal gambling and animal cruelty, Vick served time in federal prison, losing millions in salary and endorsements. His story serves as a stark reminder that gambling, in any form, can have severe consequences beyond monetary losses. While Vick eventually returned to the NFL and rehabilitated his public image, his story remains a cautionary tale about the far-reaching impacts of unchecked gambling and poor decision-making. Zhenli Yigan's $125 million loss. Zhenli Yigan, a Chinese-Mexican businessman, is infamous for his high-stakes gambling and alleged connections to drug trafficking. Over several years, Yigan reportedly lost $125 million at casinos in Las Vegas, betting massive sums at baccarat tables. His losses were not just staggering in monetary terms, but also shrouded in controversy. Yigan was accused of laundering drug money through his gambling, which brought legal scrutiny and led to his eventual arrest. His case is one of the most dramatic in casino history, blending enormous financial losses with allegations of crime. Yigan's tale is a cautionary story about how gambling can intersect with illegal activities, creating a storm of financial and legal ruin. Kerry Packer's $27 million loss in one night. Kerry Packer, the Australian media tycoon, was a legendary figure in the world of high-stakes gambling. Known for his bold bets and larger-than-life personality, Packer once lost an estimated $27 million in a single night playing blackjack and baccarat. Despite the massive loss, Packer's immense wealth allowed him to shrug it off. His gambling exploits became the stuff of legend, with stories of him tipping casino staff hundreds of thousands of dollars during his visits. While his wealth insulated him from the devastating impact of his losses, Packer's story illustrates the extraordinary risks high rollers take and the colossal stakes involved in their games. The whale who lost $500 million. One of the most mysterious stories in casino history involves a high roller who reportedly lost $500 million over several years. Known only as a whale, this gambler played in the world's most exclusive casinos, betting millions on games like blackjack, roulette, and baccarat. His losses were so massive that they made headlines, but his identity remains unknown. This story serves as a stark reminder of the high-stakes world of gambling, where fortunes can be lost as quickly as they are made. The anonymity of this gambler adds an air of mystery to one of the most significant casino loss stories ever recorded. Russian oligarchs' collective losses. At the top of the list are Russian oligarchs, known for their extravagant lifestyles and massive gambling losses. Collectively, these billionaires have lost hundreds of millions in casinos across Europe and Las Vegas. Stories of single-night losses reaching tens of millions are common among this elite group. Their tales of reckless betting, fueled by immense wealth, paint a picture of excess and indulgence. These losses often go unnoticed due to their vast fortunes, but they serve as a reminder that even the world's wealthiest individuals are not immune to the temptations of gambling.